Well, the accident I had in 2007, that was December 5th. The leadership of the choir was actually going to have a meeting in church, and the purpose of the meeting was our visitation of Igbobi Orthopedic Hospital. And I had to drop a document at pastor's place. So I left the car at home. And that, I will have to connect the two. That same year, I was given a doctorate in a Bible college, June. We want to do a transaction, and the 82-year-old man just said, I'm going to give you this thing. And true to life, I was given the doctorate, honoris causa. Then the car I'm still riding. One of the days in April 14, I can't forget. That was an election period. I had put somebody else to lead praise worship that day. And the person reneged. He just gave excuse. Last minute. So I didn't rehearse. I had to take it as a person that's in charge of music ministry. And while I was leading praise worship, the atmosphere was explosive. So I didn't know that somebody in the congregation had already entered, made a vow to God that I'm going to buy something special for this guy. So sometime in May, he invited me to come to his office. I went to his office, either by conspiracy or divine arrangement. I did not see him, and he was in that office. And I was supposed to have a meeting in church. So what I did was I took off and said, whatever he wants to give me, let him give me, but I'm not coming back to this office. So June the 2nd, I had a dream. We had only 2 cars then. And I had a dream. I saw a 3rd car that was new, but because of flood in that area, flood was going to affect the car. The 3rd of June, somebody called me in the morning. No, I had a dream 1st/2nd. On the 2nd, one of the pastors in Laterit called me and said, this family wants you to come and collect a gift. And instantly, because of the dream I had, I knew it was a car. I was not bargaining for a new car. So by the 3rd of June, we had the choir congress that day. I sent them ahead, start the meeting, and I went to the man's house. And at the man's house, I sat down and I saw the wife praying, moving around the car, praying. I said, what's my own? After praying, the lady came to me and gave me the documents. Gave me the key. That's what they want to give me. Brand new car, no number. 307 Peugeot. I called my wife, of course. That's the person I will always call first. I called her, I said, see what has happened though. The first car I also had, I went to a compound to see a client. And one of the brethren that lives in the compound said I should see him before I go. I went to see him and he was moving around the car. He said he had refurbished the car to sell it, and Holy Ghost said, this car is for Uche. That was my first car. That's the car I used to learn. And the guy said, this is your car. I called my wife also, before the new car. And then I want to tell you how we had cars. The second car was a Mercedes-Benz, and a member of the church, member of the choir actually wanted to sell it. And I said, okay. She said she would sell it for 150. I priced 120. The husband says, give it to him for 100. I bought it. And God wanted to beat me to it. Before I could give the woman the check for the car, this other car came. So that's how I had cars. And now, that day of the accident, I left the car at home and entered bike from Penn Cinema. So when we moved through Adeni Jones, the road was cut into 2. That terrible road they've been doing since. So the man had to go through. And in my spirit, I had an urge to come down from that bike and go enter another one and pay the guy. We followed And the song I was singing then, Òkè tá lágbára gùn tó mí hẹlẹ̀, òkè tá lágbára gùn tó mí hẹlẹ̀, òun tọ́mọ Ọlọ́run gùn tó padà wá dúpẹ́. Òkè tá lágbára gùn tó mí hẹlẹ̀. That's what I was singing on the bike. I didn't know that I was going to go through an experience. We got to Agidingbi, close to Allen roundabout. The man climbed the pavement and we were moving, and all of a sudden, somebody walked out of the bush. I don't know if it's a human being or a spirit. He was just moving at his own pace. The guy swerved and came down, and I flipped up and landed on the road. And there was fracture and dislocation at the same time. And what is even amazing was that cars were moving. So a car could have easily had crushed me. But God stayed, God intervened. They now carried me and took me to the roundabout. Somebody said, I know this man, I know this man. I now took my phone. They had not stolen it. And called the guys that were waiting for me. I said, see, waiting don't happen. They came and met me at that roundabout. They didn't tell my wife yet. They took me to Omotayo. So when I got to Omotayo, they used something to straighten the leg. All this while I was in serious pain. Now, this is the funny story. Omotayo, somebody came in with an accident. You know the person will do x-ray the next day. They took me to the last floor. They had to carry me and climb to the last floor. I stayed, though. When it was time for the x-ray, I came down. After the result of the x-ray, they invited a surgeon from Luth. And they told me I have to do a surgery. And from the way they were handling me, I knew that these people can't, they will use me for experiment. So I called one of our pastors that was working at Ibobi then, and he said, come over. And I remember Wisdom, the guy that used to work in the bookshop, in the tape ministry. He brought his car, Dewu, and carried me to Ibobi. When we got to Ibobi, they were looking for who is actually the person that is sick here. Because from here up, you won't know. There's no sign. I was cheerful. And they said I'm the one. They now took me out, took me to a room where they put traction, a better traction than what they did at that place, and kept the legs stable. So that was how I stood. They kept the leg in one place, kept it hanging until the day of the surgery. And when I went for the surgery, they gave me an injection. I couldn't feel this leg again. So they did the surgery and dressed the leg. I was particular about, is this leg longer than this? I was so particular, and they said no. But what amazed me was that after the surgery, in my unconscious state, somebody wanted to give me blood. And a nurse shouted, don't give that man that blood, it will be counterproductive. Because my blood group is O positive. They were about to give me O negative, And I was shocked. I knew that was the enemy. And they didn't give me any blood. I was really weak. I've never gone through such a pain before in my life. The pain was... every 4 hours or 2 hours, they give me an injection to kill the pain. But when the pain, I was the one timing them. I'll say it's time more, because the pain was excruciating. I was almost dying. I told my wife to switch off the phone. And by the time they took me from the observatory and took me back to my corner, I had a dream. I saw a live coffin. Would I call it a dream or a vision? A live coffin was coming towards me. It was just floating coffin. I just used the right leg that was okay and pushed it back. And then I was discharged in a wheelchair. I was discharged in a wheelchair, and something happened. When we got home, it was Brother Marcus. I don't know, I think he came to Igbobi or something, and that was the time I was discharged. In fact, I was discharged on the 24th of December because the doctor said, no, you won't spend Christmas here. As if he was reading my mind. And I was discharged. When I got home, of course, we were living in the duplex. We are still living there now. There's no way I could climb up. So I was sleeping I slept in the parlor for 6 months. Now, when I got home, I was vomiting. My wife said, should we take you back? I will lean down like this. It will be as if I'm sinking. Something is just giving way. I was not myself. And then I was selective in soft drink, forget it. Because of the CAC 1000 I've taken, the volume I've consumed there. Fanta and all I didn't even want. Meat pie, forget it. Frozen chicken, my system rejected it. That was when I knew there's something about frozen chicken. But if you cook live chicken, I will eat it. Then I wanted bitter stuff and all those things. But something happened. All of a sudden, one side like this went dead. I couldn't talk well. That was what we are now facing. I don't know, I've forgotten what they called it. Apparently, they gave me a malaria drug that was too powerful. That almost killed me. In Igbobi. And they said when you take such drugs, you can even hallucinate. So the thing now cost me, this side was dead. I couldn't feel much. I couldn't talk. I couldn't blow a balloon because those were the exercises they gave me. I couldn't pronounce some words. That's how they started. I'll be going to Igbobi, not to treat Lego, to be doing therapy to restore this face. It had shifted. And they started doing the work, and gave me the assignment to be blowing balloon, chewing gum, doing all those things. And gradually, after the therapy, the thing came back.